What is phantom here? Illusion. It is illusion or hallucination or imagination, just the way the God completes his purpose of life of a man. So you are going to talk about, just analyze it. Analyze the poem and you have to write the analysis, not the summary. Don't write summary. Hello, hi, namaste and welcome to Vidhyaashram, first grade college, the temple of excellence. I am Nanda Kishore, faculty of English in Vidhyaashram, MYSURU. In my previous session, I had spoken about Sparkles from the Wheel, written by Walt Whitman, the American poet, session 1. In today's session, I am going to talk about the continuation of the poem prescribed to MYSURU University, B.A. and B.C.A. students. So let us start with today's session. As we know that we have already spoken about the poet and half of the poem, and this is the continuation of the same poem, Sparkles from the Wheel, written by Walt Whitman. In my previous session, I had told you that he had a busy day and he is just picturizing the in and around or in and out of the city or the knife grinder. What is the ambience there? What is the surrounding? It is a busy road where the people are so busy moving here and there, and somewhere in the corner near the flagging, right, near the flat stone, he gets to see a knife grinder, a knife sharpener. And he is doing his job, and Walt Whitman, the poet, is occupied. He is stopped and he caught the sight and he joins the group of children. Remember the prominence of children there. And he goes on describing the act of sharpening the knife. And let us continue what he meant to say and what are the other things he wants to convey to the readers. The scene, all its belongings. What is the scene here? The scene is knife sharpener or the knife grinder is sharpening the knife and all its belongings. It says all its belongings. What is the belongings? Is the poet only looking at the machine there? Is he looking at the stone or the wheel or the knife or the person? Or is he looking at other things on the other hand? Maybe the people, how they are behaving. Are they looking at this person? Are some people standing and observing how well he is sharpening the knife? The belongings, all its belongings. He says scene. The scene is knife sharpener, the children and himself. But apart from that, if you come out, there is something else, the world, which exists around us. All its belongings, how they seize and affect me. Beautifully told. He says, the scene has captured my attention. ಈ ಒಂದು ಸೀನ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದು ನನ್ನ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಗ್ರಾಬ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ನನ್ನ ಫುಲ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್, ನನ್ನ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಫುಲ್ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೇನೇ ಇದೆ. ನನ್ಗೇನೂ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಯಾವುದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. Look at the intensity and it affects me. Affect, ಪ್ರಭಾವ ಬೀರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. It is causing an effect on me. Where? To my mind. How? Let me just give you an example. Imagine that the knife grinders, right? The people who grind the knives, sharpen the knives, they are no longer existing these days. Handful, maybe if you go to village side, you would see them. Imagine you happen to see them. ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನದಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾಣಿ ಹಿಡಿಯೋರು ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ, ತುಂಬಾ ರೇರ್. ಇವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಫ್ಯಾಬ್ರಿಕೇಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಏನಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ವೆಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಮಿಷಿನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರೇ ನಿಮಗೆ ಶಾರ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಥವಾ ನೀವೇ ಒಂದು ಮಿಷಿನ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಶಾರ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ನೀವು ಬೈ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಶಾಣಿ ಹಿಡಿಯೋರ್ನ, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಥಾಟ್ಸ್. ಹೇಗೆ ಅವನು ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ standing in one corner, or maybe you will be standing on the street, or maybe anywhere for that matter, and you will be looking at him very keenly. And you will go back to your flashback, don't you? ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಲಾಶ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ. ನಾನು ಚಿಕ್ಕವನಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ನೋಡಿದ್ದು, ಅವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ದು, ಇವತ್ತು ಹಾಗೆ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಯು ಗೋ ಆನ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವಿಂಗ್, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ಯೋರ್ ಥಾಟ್ಸ್. ಅಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮೀ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್. What is the process of affecting here? You go on telling to yourself, you go on questioning yourself. ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹಿಂದೆ ನಿಂತಿರೋರು, ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಹಿಂದೆ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹಾರ್ನ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಲ್ಲ. ನಿಂತಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಮನೆ ಹತ್ರ ನಿಂತಿರ್ತೀರಾ ಅಥವಾ ರೋಡಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಬಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರನ್ನ ಕೂಗಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ದೋಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್, ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಥಾಟ್. And he says, affecting me, maybe with respect to Walt Whitman, the poet, he had a busy day, possibly, or probably. And he has forgotten all that, and it is affecting me. He is not thinking about anything else. Just like complete concentration, just like a child, completely concentrating on one thing. And now he brings up, what is he observing, affecting? The sad, sharp-chinned. Look at it. The sad, who is sad here? The knife sharpener, one who is sharpening the knife. Sharp-chinned. He says sharp, not sad-chinned. He says sharp. He is comparing his face maybe to the sharpness of the knife. ಹೇಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪದವನ್ನು ಬಳಸ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಶಾರ್ಪ್ ಚಿನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ದುಂಡು ಮುಖ, ಕೋಲ್ ಮುಖ ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ, ಶಾರ್ಪ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನೀವು ದುಂಡು ಮುಖ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಕೋಲ್ ಮುಖ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ರೈಟ್? ಶಾರ್ಪ್ ಮುಖ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಶಾರ್ಪ್ ಚಿನ್. ಈಸ್ ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಚಿನ್ ಶಾರ್ಪ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದ ನೈಫ್. ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿತ್ worn clothes, worn ಹಾಳಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಟೋನ್ ಕ್ಲೋತ್ಸ್, tone, bad clothes, and broad shoulder, very broad shoulder. He is describing the physique here. Band of leather. Band of leather. Maybe the instruments, what he has around his waist, or maybe across his back. He is picturizing. Usually this knife grinders or the knife sharpeners, they carry things in this leather pouch. He is picturizing all these images to the readers, and then he goes on, myself effusing and fluid. Effusing, talking like, excited manner, diffusing it. And fluid, no shape. However it comes, he goes on talking. Maybe he is talking, or hold on, a phantom. What is phantom here? Illusion. It is illusion or hallucination or imagination. A phantom curiously floating. Where? What is this illusion? He is looking at this person, the sharpener, and there is something going on in his mind. And that mind, that thought, effusing the thought, is not constant. He is looking at him in different angles every minute, every second. Maybe his viewpoint or the perception is changing. He confesses to the readers, floating, an illusion is floating, curiously floating, not just ordinarily, curiously floating. Now here absorbed and arrested. Now here he says, here, where? ಎಲ್ಲಿ? ಅವನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ನನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಿತಿನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಏನೇನೋ ಆಲೋಚನೆಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನನಗೆ. Poets are like that. ಕವಿಗಳು, ಕಾದಂಬರಿಗಾರರು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಲವಾರು ಆಲೋಚನೆಗಳಿರುತ್ತೆ. The poets, authors, dramatists, lot of things will be going on in their heads, lot of thoughts. And he says the same thing. ಒಂದು ಪರಿಕಲ್ಪನೆ, ಒಂದು ಊಹೆ, illusion, ಊಹೆ, ಅದು ಕ್ಯೂರಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಲೈಕ್ ಆರ್ಡಿನರಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ನನ್ನ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಲೋಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. And here and now here absorbed and arrested. Look at this line and this line. There is a difference. You can compare them and also differentiate how this thought could be about his previous acts on the particular day. If you had been working as a government clerk or teacher or journalist, maybe you had all these illusions about those acts. That is differentiating. But here he says, now here. So it shows obviously it is a differentiating. It is differentiation. He is differentiating with the previous acts of the day, and now he says, and now ಮೊದಲು ನನಗಿತ್ತು ಯಾವಾಗ ಏನೇನೋ ಆಲೋಚನೆಗಳಿತ್ತು ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೋ. Now he is not talking about the knife sharpener here, but the day. But here now he comes back and says, now here absorbed, not observe, absorbed. ಹೀರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ, ನನ್ನ ಮೈಂಡ್ನ ಹೀರ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ, right? Absorbed and arrested. What is absorbing and arresting here? The act of sharpening the knife. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೈಫ್ ಅನ್ನ ಶಾರ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರುವಂತಹ ಆಕ್ಟು ನನ್ನನ್ನ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಥಿತಿಯನ್ನ ಆಕ್ಯುಪೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ, ಆವರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಅರೆಸ್ಟೆಡ್. I cannot think about anything else. The group, this is a beautiful line. He says the group, and he himself gives the description, more description within the brackets. It is in the actual poem. He says, an unminded point set in a vast surrounding. An unminded point set. Unminded, no particular mindset. Each one of, maybe what is he talking about? Unminded, who is he talking about? Maybe the children, right? Who are having a different opinion, different mindset, different thought process, who have come under one roof, the group. Or the other group could be the people, unminded. They are like nonsensical people. They are only busy in their lives. They are not thinking about anything else. Unminded point set in a vast surrounding. He says, vast surrounding. He is on the street, remember. It could be both people and the group, including himself, the children. Unminded. Different mindset, but come as one, under one roof, the group. Let us move on and see. The attentive. Who is he talking about now? He is not talking about the people. He is talking about the group of children there. The attentive, very attentive. Who? The group of children and myself. The attentive, quiet children. Very quietly observing. Imagine children cannot keep their mouth shut. That's it. That's why the poet uses. That's the main reason. He says, quiet, which describes the process. That's how powerful it is. Arrested. It is going to observe. Observe. It is going to catch hold of your attention. Quiet children, now opposite of it. The loud, proud, restive bass of the streets. Now, this is one part. This is one image. ಇದು ಒಂದು ಪರಿಕಲ್ಪನೆ. ಕವಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ದ ಅಟೆಂಟಿವ್, ತುಂಬಾ ಅಟೆಂಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿರುವ ಪೀಪಲ್, ತುಂಬಾ ಶಾರ್ಪ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕ್ವಾಯಟ್ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್, ಏನು ಮಾತುಕತೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಓ ಹಾ ಅಂತ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಆಗಿ ಶಾರ್ಪ್ ಐಸ್ ಇಂದ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ದ ಲೌಡ್, ದ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಸೈಡ್. ಹಿ ಇಸ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸೈಲೆನ್ಸ್. ದ ಲೌಡ್, ಪ್ರೌಡ್. ಹಿ ಸೇಸ್ ದ ಲೌಡ್, ಪ್ರೌಡ್, restive bass. Restive, what is this? Very busy, lot of energy, and without rest. It is not restive in the sense rest. It is without rest. Restive bass of the streets, where He is talking about a lot of vehicles passing by, maybe a lot of people walking by, and there are a lot of machines, other machines working, maybe the food stamping. He is talking about the loud world outside. But here, the world, the children and the poet is lost, is about the knife grinder, the knife sharpener. They are lost in their world of looking at that person. The outside world is too loud. Though it is too loud, he is talking about being quiet and completely lost. The low hoarse purr of the whirling stone. The low horse is the noise. The course of like where the machine is, the cycle is going on and zzz, remember the sound? Where they go on welding. Remember today's context to this is that if you have seen the fabricators, they go on grinding or welding the metal and it creates a sound zzz, just like tiles, right? And it says purr is sound. The low, it is too low compared to the world outside of the whirling stone. Whirling, like go on circling the stone. The light pressed blade. Now he says the light pressed blade. Not too hard. Light pressed blade. Diffusing, releasing. Diffusing is releasing. Dropping. Dropping what? Sideways darting in tiny showers of gold. What is happening here? The process of knife sharpener, right, sharpening, he goes on, sharpens or sharpening the blade, and this process is diffusing the sparks there. The circle, and there is a blade, right, and there are a lot of sparkles here, lot of sparkles. And these sparkles are gold in color. They are diffusing and they are dropping as well. Once the sparkles falls, they are dropping. It is diffusing the friction between stone and metal and it falls. And then sideways darting. Sideways. Side. If he holds the blade this way, it goes on the sideways, not straight. Right? At times I know it goes straight. It depends on the way you hold the blade. But why he says sideways? Because the author, the poet, is looking at it from the sideway. So he says sideway. And the process is happening in front of his eyes. Darting. Just like dart. You remember the darts which you throw to the bullseye? Right? Darting. In tiny showers. He says tiny. Just like showers. Tiny showers of gold. Golden in color. And then says sparkles from the wheel. Sparkles from the wheel, which is very important, not from the blade, nor the stone, nor anything else, but from the wheel. Sparkles. And those sparkles are compared to darting, right? They are jets. They are like golden jets. Remember, they are compared to golden jets. They are compared to shower of gold. Very important. And that process will sharpen the blade. The ultimate purpose of completing the life cycle, or once the wheel starts spinning, the process of sharpening completes. Just the way the God completes his purpose of life of a man. So that's how the poem is looked at. So let us go on to previous year's questions. This is 1 mark each. Who moves ceaselessly in the poem? Sparkles from the wheel. It is always crowd, the mob, or the group of people. It is, the right word is crowd. Where does the knife grinder work according to Walt Whitman in the poem Sparkles from the wheel. So where is he working? He's working on the edge, maybe the street, off streets, right? The curve. This is for 1 mark as well. And remember, he was working on the flagging, maybe near the flagpole or the flat slab. We call it chapri. Kannadadalli chapri kallu anta heltivi, right? Flagging. And now I've already told you, flagging could also mean tired. This is for 5 marks annotation, right? The scene and all its belongings. The line is for annotation. The scene and all its belongings, how they seize and affect me. I have already told you that you need to know how well to attempt the annotations. If you don't know how well to attempt the annotation, let me just teach you one more time. Let me just give you an idea how to attempt annotation, how to annote. First thing, you need to write that this line is the extract, or these lines are taken from the poem Sparkles from the Wheel, written by Walt Whitman, right? That is one line. You're talking about the line, and then you go on talking about the poet. You talk about the poet first. Like, who is Walt Whitman? Where did he live? What did he write? What are his major works? And then, what is this poem about? There is a background of the poem where Walt Whitman is trying to create an image to the reader about a simple thing which could be seen in a complex way, which could be seen in a greater way. You have to annotate it. So you are going to talk about, just analyze it. Analyze the poem, and you have to write the analysis, not the summary. Don't write summary. So analyze in the sense you saw the summary of this poem, and then you have to think about the poem for a minute or two. You will get how to write, how to create the phrases and sentences to annote. So this poem is all about looking at simple things in a greater way. He picturizes the surroundings in this poem, and he goes on comparing, or he goes on differentiating two things. One is how the crowd moves without giving its attention to simple things, and how they are losing their lives. Don't we all? ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಇರುವ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಡಿ ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರ ಬದಲು ನಾವು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೆಗ್ಲೆಕ್ಟೇ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸೇ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ. That is what he meant. This poem is all about it. So he is teaching the readers, he is conveying the message to the readers, give prominence to simple things, enjoy simple things. That's how your life is complete. That's how you're going to be happy. That is done, and then you start writing, what is the scene here? You go on writing, poet has or had a busy day, and while passing by, he grabbed the attention, or he was occupied with the scene of knife sharpener. And he goes on expressing his feelings to the readers, saying that the scene and all its belongings. The scene of what? You have to talk about each and every word I spoke now. The scene and belongings, the way I did. How they seized and affected the poet. So 5 marks, you need to write at least 2 paragraphs. Write it, definitely you're going to get 5 marks for annotation. Annotative, right? Annotate. You have to write this much in order to get 5 marks in your examination. It is for 5 marks. Annotations will be for 5 marks, and long answer will be for 10 marks. Remember that. So that is it for today's session. I'm going to meet you in my next session with yet another poem prescribed in your syllabus. I'm going to meet you in my next session. Until then, keep practicing. Have a good day. Take care.